I'm giving you all a quick update on what's to come and just what time it is because still so many people have no idea and cannot see the warning signs around them. But this is just another warning sign for you and the world around you, because in a couple of days from now there is going to be a large festival to take place, and it's called Mahashivaratri in Hindu religion, and it's to give honor and homage to Lord Shiva. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is because this is very symbolic. This is a very symbolic festival taking place. And you're going to see just how symbolic this is and how this relates to something even bigger to come. Now, as you can see in this image of Shiva, which is a Hindu deity, Shiva is said to be the god of destruction. And Shiva is also said to be one of the incarnates of the Hindu trinity of Lord Brahma. But that's not all. As you can see in this image alone, you can see that Shiva has in fact a pitchfork, which, who else has a pitchfork just like that? And not only that, but you can see a serpent around Lord Shiva's neck and a serpent on Shiva's head. Who else is known to be a serpent? I'll let you answer that on your own. Now here I am at the Indian panorama, and I'm going to be talking about Mahashivaratri and giving some helpful sources and links so you can see more about the festival that's going to be taking place on March 7th, 2016. But it says Mahashivaratri or Mahasivaratri or Padmarajaratri is a great festival in Hinduism celebrated annually with the devotion and religious enthusiasm and the honor of the Lord Shiva, deities of the Hindu Trinity. The literal meaning of Shivaratri is the great night of Lord Shiva. And notice how it's celebrated, or it says night translated. According to the Hindu calendar, it is celebrated in the Varanasi and the dark fortnight of Krishna Paksha at the 13th night or 14th day of the month, Magha or Falguna, month of February or March, according to the English calendar, to worship Shiva Lingam, to make happy the Lord Shiva. Mahashivaratri 2016 will be celebrated all over India as well as abroad by the devotees of Lord Shiva on the 7th of March at Monday. And then it gives a history which says the festival is celebrated to respect Lord Shiva by offering leaves of Baal. And notice how that sounds very reminiscent of Baal, Baal, or Bilva Vilvam, Bang Datura, flowers, coconut fruits, water, cow milk, and other things. Devotees keep fast a full day and full night and pray to Lord Shiva for their beautiful life partner with healthy and prosperous life. According to the ritual belief and traditions, penances are performed to get benefited in the practice of yoga and meditation. Kashi Vishwanath Temple in Varanasi is one of the most important places for tourist attractions in the UP state, where a big fair is held on at Maha Shivratri in front of the Virla Temple in Vishwanath Galley of the old Vishwanath Temple. Another myth of celebrating Mahashivaratri in Hinduism is that whole world was facing destruction and more near to the Pralaya, and then the goddess Parvati, who had worshipped her husband, the Lord Shiva, to save the world. Finally, her prayer was approved by the Lord Shiva, and then goddess Parvati named that night the Mahashivaratri, or the Great Night of Shiva. Now, if you pay close attention to to one of those myths, that sounds very reminiscent of what? The story of Nimrod and Semiramis, the story of Isis and Osiris and Horus. It's no different. Mystery religion repackaged all over again. And these ritual beliefs and traditions, they may sound good on the surface, but really there is more to it than what you think. It's all embedded in Babylonian religion. But it goes on to say, it is believed that after completion of the creation of the world, Goddess Parvati asked to Lord Shiva that which devotees and rituals satisfied him the most, and then Lord Shiva replied to Goddess Parvati that the 13th night of the Magha month is his most favorite day. Wow, the 13th night, number 13. That's no surprise. After that, she repeated the words of Lord Shiva to her friends, and then the words were spread all over the world. And we're also going to go over some of the rituals that they do, but this festival also has to do with the day that Shiva married Parvati. And we're going to see how this relates to Kali in a second. But basically, it goes on to on Mahashivratri, people keep fast of whole day and night, and Kashi Vishwanath temple gets congregated by the young and old devotees from the very early morning. They come to the temple to perform the puja of traditional Shiva Lingam and hope to get what they have prayed to the god. They take bath in the holy water of the Ganga, or symbol of the purity, early in the morning before sunrise. I wonder who's the morning sun. Who's the son of the morning? Excuse me, I should say. The son of the morning. I'll let you answer that. And wear a clean cloth after the sacred bath. Every worshiper brings a pot full of holy Ganji water to the temple to offer the Shiva Lingam. Women pray to God for her well-being of their husbands and sons, and unmarried women pray to their desired husband like Shiva, the ideal husband in future. Boys pray to get beautiful wife and successful life in future. The temple full of sound of bells and people, shouts of Shankarji Ki Jai or Mahadevji Ki Jai. Devotees take 5 rounds of the Shinga Lingam and pour water on the Shiva Lingam. Some also pour cow milk on the Shiva Lingam. As you can see, this is very, very paganistic, very, very ritualistic, and very satanic in nature. We're not supposed to be doing and partaking any of this according to Torah. But the reason I'm talking about this is because I want you to see just what time it is and see what this has to do with a ton of other things. Now, like I said earlier, this festival that's about to take place also has to do with the day that is said in Hinduism that Shiva and Parvati were married together. Well, that's according to the Hindu religion. But when you look up the other Hindu god Kali, she is the incarnation of Parvati, the wife of Shiva. And Kali is said to be the god of death and destruction, and also the god of time. Now, why is this so important? Is because who does that remind you of? Isis and Osiris, Semiramis and Nimrod, Mary and Jesus, and mystery Babylonian Freemasonic religion. And Kali is said to be the dark black side of the incarnate of Parvati. So it should not surprise us then that we saw Kali on the Empire State Building in New York City back in August of 2016. And she was portrayed as having 3 eyes, her tongue sticking out, and she was black, which symbolizes darkness, destruction, chaos, which is about to come and take place. And this is only one of the many ways that they are getting ready and showing us what is to come. Now, here I am at About, and I'm at the religion section, and it's talking about Nataraj, or the dancing Shiva, and why this is so important. And you're going to be wondering, how does this relate to CERN? I'm about to show you just how in a second, and how all of this is related. The Maha Shivaratri, and as well as the festival, and how it relates to what's about to come, and how it relates with CERN and other weather technology. I'm going to tell you the agenda at play, but it says Nataraja, or Nataraj, the dancing form of Lord Shiva, is a symbolic synthesis of the most important aspects of Hinduism and the summary of the central tenets of this Vedic religion. The term Nataraj means king of dancers, or Sanskrit Nata means dance and Raja means king, so it means the dance of the king. In the words of Ananda K. Kumaraswamy, Slaki if I'm butchering that, Nataraj is the clearest image of the activity of God which any art or religion can boast of. A more fluid and energetic representation of a moving figure than the dancing figure of Shiva can scarcely be found anywhere. And then it gives the origin, and it says, an extraordinary iconographic representation of the rich and diverse cultural heritage of India. It was developed in southern India by 9th and 10th century artists during the Chola period, which was a period from 880 to 1279 AD or CE, in a series of beautiful bronze sculptures. Yeah, beautiful, okay. By the 12th century AD, it achieved canonical stature, and soon the Chola Nataraja became the supreme statement of Hindu art. And it gives the symbol, and it shows that in a marvelously unified and dynamic composition expressing the rhythm and harmony of life, Nataraj is shown with 4 heads represent the cardinal directions, or more like 4 horsemen. Okay, let's keep going. He is dancing with his left foot elegantly raised and the right foot on a prostrate figure. By the way, that also has to do with, you can also say that has to do with Masonic, Freemasonic Illuminati ritual. Apasmara Purusha, the personification of what? Illusion and ignorance over whom Shiva triumphs. Ignorance. Are you still living in ignorance? The upper left hand holds a flame, and we know what that has to do with. It has to do with the same thing that Satan holds, the pitchfork. The lower left hand points down to the dwarf, who is shown holding a what? A cobra, a snake, a serpent. Hello. The upper right hand holds an hourglass drum or dumru that stands for the male-female vital principle. The lower shows the gesture of assertion, be without fear. What does that remind us of? Oh yeah, illusion. And then snakes that stand for egotism are seen uncoiling from his arms, legs, and hair, which is braided and bejeweled. Oh, but they forget one thing that snakes also represent. It represents what? The serpent seen in Genesis, Satan himself. His matted locks are whirling as he dances within an arch of flames, representing the endless cycle of birth and death. Arch of flames, just like the phoenix. Are we starting to see what all of this is really about? On his head is a skull, which symbolizes his conquest over death. No, skulls symbolize death itself. And then it says Goddess Ganga, the epitome of the holy river Ganges, also sits on his hairdo. His third eye is symbolic of his omniscience, insight, and enlightenment. Where have I heard that? The Illuminati. Third eye, eye of Horus. Mystery Babylonian religion all over again. Are we starting to see what this really is talking about? Are we starting to read between the lines? Because I'm telling you, this goes much deeper than you think it does. And I'm going to tell you what this has to do with CERN and other weather technology coming soon. But it says the whole idol rests on a lotus pedestal, the symbol of the creative forces of the universe, or as I like to say, the demonic forces. But it goes on to say the significance of Shiva's dance. The cosmic dance of Shiva is called Anandandava, meaning the dance of bliss, and symbolizes the karmic cycles of creation and destruction, as well as the daily rhythm of birth and death. No, it really represents Satan's dance to the whole world in order to cause destruction. It is another ritual found in Freemasonry. That's all it is. All of it satanic. But it goes on to say the dance is a pictorial allegory of the five principal manifestations of eternal energy: creation, destruction, preservation, salvation, and of course illusion. Are you starting to see what this is leading to? According to Kumaraswamy, the dance of Shiva also represents his five activities: Shrishti, creation, or what? Evolution. Who's behind evolution? Oh yeah, I'm gonna tell you how this is going to relate to aliens. Shiti, or preservation and support; Samhara, destruction or evolution again; Tirupava, illusion; and Anugraha, release, emancipation, and grace. The overall temper of the image is paradoxical, uniting the inner tranquility and outside activity of Shiva. So what is basically all this hinting at? It's hinting at the illusion of a false peace, illusion of all these falsehoods, but what? It's really talking about destruction, order out of chaos, or do of chaos, new world order. And I'm going to show you just what I'm talking about. As you can see here, here is that same Nataraj, or the Nataraja statue of Shiva that is standing just outside of CERN. And CERN, we know, is the building that is responsible for weather control and weather modification. And they're the ones that are said to be behind a bunch of the earthquakes and a bunch of what? Weather control. That is what they're trying to do. And they're not the only ones behind it. We also know that who else is behind it? HAARP, H-A-A-R-P, weather control. They're the ones simulating these staged earthquakes and these staged so-called pandemics, the staged tsunamis. They're the ones behind it. And it just so happens that right outside of CERN, they have a Shiva statue right outside of it. Oh, but they say it's a gift from India. Yeah, think again. I mean, this is so symbolic. They're literally telling you that. Not only that, but if you actually look this up, you actually see that there are scientists from CERN who are actually doing the Nataraj, or dancing, or doing the Shiva dance in a commercial. They're actually doing it. What does that all represent? Why is this so symbolic? You're about to find out in just a second. Like I said, who does Shiva represent? Who does Shiva really represent? He represents destruction, but also what else? Evolution, illusion. It's all an illusion. That's what he represents. And I'm going to tell you the big illusion that's about to come and the big deception that's about to come and why this is all so symbolic. Now, mind you, you may be wondering what does this festival have to do with CERN and everything and the destruction that's about to come. Do not get it twisted. I'm not here to set dates and say, oh, March 7th, something big is going to happen. No, that's not what this is about. I'm telling you that this is symbolic and it represents the coming destruction and the symbolisms and the rituals and the demonic satanic forces that are behind this, because you need to see what time it is and you need to see just what's going on in the world around you. Now, lately, you've been hearing a ton about comets. In fact, it was just said the other day that a so-called comet just so happened to pass by Earth in fact, just yesterday, I believe. And I'm letting you know the agenda behind this, because yes, there is an agenda behind everything. Everyone has an agenda, and there is an agenda behind these so-called comets, and why you're seeing an uptick in comets and you're hearing a lot more about comets. And I'm going to let you know the agenda ahead of time. But what are they trying to do? They're trying to get ready for what? The New World Order, the One World Agenda, the one world government, and the one world religion. The only way they can do that, though, is through some comet threat, an asteroid threat. That's the only way they can do it. And so don't be surprised if you start to see an uptick in the news talking about comets and talking about more comets are going to hit, more comets are going to hit. You're going to start hearing that, or you're going to hear that they're getting real close. They're getting real close. Now, of course, nobody knows when it's actually going to, if it does, but I'm just going to let you know the agenda behind it, because there is an agenda behind all this, and this relates quite well with CERN. And it says, comet in night sky this month will be closest for 246 years. Comet P 2016 BA14 Pan stars, and notice how you see Pan, they have to give some homage to Lucifer, Satan somehow, will soar past the planet or plane at a distance of just 2.1 million miles or 9 lunar distances on March 22nd. Interesting how they're saying March 22nd or 322, which is a very, very, very satanic number. It represents Skull and Bones, the organization behind 9/11. But the reason I'm telling you this is because, like I said, you're going to start seeing an uptick in these comets. Now, don't expect it to hit anytime soon. Most likely it'll hit, well, we don't know when, but we do know that they're planning and getting ready for something, and it's all staged. And also, don't be fooled from what they're telling you, because they like to say, oh, it's coming from a million miles away. Oh, it's coming from a million miles away. No, they're just making all this up. And I'm gonna tell you more and elaborate soon enough. But it says, the last time that a comet was this close to the Earth, Captain James Cook was sailing to Australia on board HMS Endeavour. On March 22nd this year, Comet P26 BA14 Pan-STARRS will soar past the plane at a distance of just 2.1 million miles, and they're making that up as well, or 9 lunar distances. It is the closest a comet has flown to the Earth since July 1770, when Lexell's comet passed at 1.4 million miles, so close that astronomer Charles Messier recorded that it looked 4 times the size of the full moon. So of course they have to make up all the pseudoscience behind it. But what are they getting ready for? They are mentally conditioning you for a so-called comet alien threat that's coming. And oh my goodness, because what? It fulfills the New World Order agenda. Do not believe the hype. Do not believe what they tell you. It is all an agenda. It is all made up. They're just telling you that, oh, it's coming from out of this world, and oh, it's coming from over here and over there, and giving false images to go with it. For what? The New World Order agenda, because they need you to believe that a so-called comet is coming from out of this world. They need you to believe that it's coming and it's going to hit the Earth and it's going to cause a threat. They need you to believe that so that they can get this New World Order going and to get the sleeping public to accept a New World Order within a day. That's the only way they're going to do it, and I'm going to show you just what I'm talking about. Like I said, you're going to see a ton more researchers and so-called astronomers and so-called scientists and so-called astronauts talking about, oh, comet threat, comet threat, comet threat. You're going to hear more about that. Why? Because they're getting ready for the biggest deception of all time. And they need you to believe that an actual comet's going to hit. Why? Because they're getting ready for their agenda. And here I am at the University of Rochester, where they talk about, oh, so-called scientist discovers new comet, because they're getting ready and they're all playing for who? Team New World Order. Who? Team One World Government. They're working for the same team, Team Satan. That is who they are working for. But as this says, a University of Rochester scientist has discovered a new comet, first to be discovered by an astronomer associated with the University of Rochester or the Rochester area in over a century, his colleagues believe. So this is, according to them, it's the first time they're seeing it in 100 years. David Cameron, a visiting scientist, and Eric Mamajek's research group in the Department of Physics and Astronomy recently discovered a new short period comet named Comet P2015 PD229, and this was reported today actually. But it says Cameron discovered the comet last August while analyzing images taken in May 2015 by Mamajek with the Dark Energy Camera or DCAM on the Blanco 4M telescope at the Cerro Tololo Inter-American Observatory in Chile. And it says they're not looking for an actual comet, they're looking for something else, and they say that it's rare to find one, and oh, we haven't found one in the last years, and now we're all of a sudden finding them. Why is it that all of a sudden you're starting to see an uptick in so-called scientists and the like, and even so-called astronauts about to start discovering this stuff and say, oh my goodness, there's a comet coming? Why all of a sudden, and why around the same time of the Shiva festival? Very, very interesting indeed. Here I am at Express now, and this talks about what, like I said, the big agenda. Rogue killer comet could be heading for Earth after mystery meteor shower seen. A never before seen meteor shower could be a sign that a potentially dangerous comet poses a threat to the Earth, astronomers have warned. Because that's what they're going to keep trying to tell us. They're going to keep trying to feed us this propaganda that, oh my goodness, potential comets. Oh my goodness, we're so in danger. Oh my goodness, please. Oh, what do we have to do to fight off this threat? Oh, I know. We have to send in fake space-based weapons, which is a hoax, in order to fight off this threat. And then we have to say, oh, this is potentially dangerous. So now in order to fight off this threat, we have to merge as a new world order, merge as a one world government, merge as a one world government in order to fight off this threat, just like the so-called threat of terror, when there is no threat at all, because we know what it is. It's not an actual comet coming from outer space or whatever. No, it's that they're making that up. Just like the Russia one, they either do it one or two ways. What will they do? They will try to make it seem as if it's a real comet, but really it's what? It's an illusion. It is an illusion to make you think that it's a comet, but really it is all an illusion. It's an illusion to make it look like that a comet is coming, but really it's holographic technology with ELFs, LFs, and other seismic waves and activities and other technologies and sound enhancers and sound technology to make you think that it's a comet coming from outer space, when this is not the case at all. Or you may not want to believe this, but it could also be an actual fallen angel. Because yes, so-called comets are fallen angels. They're demons. And that is how they get away with doing and fooling the entire world, because they fooled you into thinking that planets actually exist when they don't. And now they're fooling you once again. But this is real, authentic truth here. But it says scientists at the SETI Institute, who usually search for evidence of alien life, because that's what they're going to keep feeding us. When we know aliens are lies, we know aliens are the fallen angels. It's the fallen angels and the demons and the demigods posing as aliens in order to fulfill the New World Order. But they've been desperately trying to track the source of the meteor showers seen over New Zealand, but have been unable to identify the comet response. Meteor showers are caused by ice and dust debris falling from the trail of a comet as it passes our plane. See, I'm telling you, they're good at lying, but it says the meteor shower has been traced as coming from the direction of the southern sky Volans constellation. The comets are known as Jupiter-friendly comets because they linger near the planet or due to the force Jupiter places on them. And no, Jupiter is not a planet. There are no such things as planets. They are lying to you. They are photoshopped images from NASA. Whether you believe that or not, that is the real truth. You can do the research on that yourself before leaving your comments, unless you do the research and see just who's really lying to you, because I'm telling you, your government won't tell you that. Why? Because there's an agenda. Because if they can make you think long enough that this is happening, what's about to happen? According according to the Illuminati card, and by the way, all those Illuminati cards, the ones that have happened so far, they've all happened to be very, very accurate in depicting things. So far, they've been accurate with the Fukushima, they've been accurate with the Pentagon, they were accurate with 9/11. They even knew exactly which tower would fall and how it would look. They got it right. And mind you, and they even showed the Boston bombings on this Illuminati card. Interesting, because last I checked, these cards were made back in the 1990s. So how did they know that the Boston bombings would happen 20 years before it actually happened? Unless they're staging everything. And one of the cards they show happens to show what? A comet hitting the East Coast, a comet hitting the Puerto Rico area. So that's exactly what's going to happen. But it's not going to be a comet from out of this world. It's going to be what? Holographic images, an illusion of a comet that's really not a comet. And it's going to be, and this is why it relates to CERN so much, because when this happens in Puerto Rico, what's going to happen? They're going to stage a large earthquake and they're going to stage a large tsunami, whether that be through CERN or HARP or both, but they're going to stage a large earthquake and tsunami in the Puerto Rico area, and it's going to coincide with the so-called comet or meteor that's going to hit, which they're going to blame it that it came from outer space and out of this world, but really we know it's going to be holographic technology. It's going to be an illusion, and they're going to use sound waves and other sound projections to make you think that it's real, or they're going to pull another 9/11 and they're going to already have video footages and photoshopped images already to try to make it, to try to prove to the sleeping public, this is what happened, and it was real and everything like that. They're getting us ready for the real thing, and they're trying to mentally condition you into thinking that a comet is actually coming when this is not the case. They're conditioning your mind to get ready to look at certain dates and to say, oh, it's going to happen this day, it's going to happen that day, when they're not going to tell you the actual day that it happens, and they know that, but they need you to see it's all about mind control. They need you to think that a comet's going to come. They need you to keep seeing it so that when it does happen, you'll think that it was an actual comet from out of this world, when that is not the case. And like I said, who's going to be the organization behind this? CERN Technology, that is going to be the organization behind it. They even put a picture of Shiva right outside of their offices. And it's going to be CERN and it's going to be HARP as well. So yes, you should be concerned. Now, I know there are a lot of conspiracy theories out there that say that CERN is the gateway and opening up portals to other dimensions and other worlds, when we know for a fact that no, that is not the case. Really, honestly, the fallen angels, they're already here. The demons, they're already here. They've already been here. They've been here for how many thousands of years? They don't need to come through a portal. They were locked up for 4,900 years, according to the Book of Enoch, and now they released around the time of 1940s, when they started to go to Hitler and the Roswell incident to do what? To start this fraudulent space program, NASA, to fool you into believing that planets are real when they're not, and they're just fooling you every single day, because the earth is flat. Yes, that is the truth. Do your research on that. But why am I telling you this, and what does this have to do with CERN and the comet? It all is interrelated. It is all intermingled. Yes, they are planning this. They've been planning this. I've even did a post on Independence Day in the Independence Day website where they even show a hexagon around Puerto Rico, and it says day of arrival. What is that talking about? Oh yeah, it's talking about the so-called comet threat. And not only that, but there you can see many other references where they're pointing to Puerto Rico. It's the same thing. No one knows the day. Like I said, I don't set dates, but I'm telling you that is what they're preparing for. That is the agenda. They're getting ready to try to fool the world and make you think that a real comet is coming and that it's really going to hit someplace, and that we need to merge as a new world order to try to fight off this threat, because that is what they are about to do. And it's time you see this, and it's time you wake up to the truth, and it's time you start to really see how all of this is related. It's all related. And like I said, I really believe, well, first of all, I believe this will probably be the last festival they do with the Mahashivaratri, just like the last Oscars, because at the Oscars, they just so happen to put a Tower of Babel at the Oscars. But like I said, it's no surprise that this is happening when? Exactly at the same time as what? The same time as the London drills that just took place, and a bunch of other military drills that all are taking place at the same time. The one in Saudi Arabia, the one in South Korea, and other ones across Europe and other places as well. Now, whether or not some of them are actually real or not, that's up for debate, of course. But why am I telling you all this? Is because there's so much going on right now. There's too much going on to ignore. And you need to see the warning signs ahead of time and see just what time it is, because they're literally putting in our faces what they are about to do. So that is why you need to see it. That is why you need to seek Yahuwah with all your heart and his true son, Yahusha, because I'm telling you, when this stuff happens, it's going to happen. But you have been warned. This is Truth Unveiled here saying shalom.